This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening and happy Friday, everyone. Today's deer opener in North Dakota and tomorrow's in Minnesota is what many in the valley have been waiting for. But even if you're not a hunter, it's a big weekend to be outside with our temperatures taking a climb. We head straight to meteorologist Nathan Hopper with a first look at your forecast. Nathan?
Yeah, thanks, Stacy. It may be the deer opener this weekend, but it may be a weekend to grill out, honestly, with the temperatures we're forecasting for both Saturday and Sunday. For tonight, though, we had some beautiful photos come in from across the region. This one from the Jamestown area, a Blue Jays sunset there at the high school football stadium. A beautiful sunset there just before kickoff. Blaine shared this one with us to our website, valleynewslive.com. Also from Jamestown, St. James Cathedral there at sunset. Bill shared this amazing photo with us to our website as well. And then this one, after the rain moved through Stutsman County, got this double rainbow from the Stutsman County area. Jody shared this one with us as well. Things have slowed down in the rain department, at least for us and our Luther Family Ford Skycam. Still seeing some wet roadways there, but when watching the light in the dealership parking lot there, have not seen many raindrops there lately. And it's backed up by radar. We are seeing those rain showers pushing down I-94 toward Barnesville and pushing into portions of Lakes Country as well as portions of northern North Dakota as well. That's where we're seeing the rainfall going on. You can see even near the Monoman area some more organized rainfall at this time, but just some light rainfall wafting its way through. No major concerns for this stuff. But of course, after a quiet weekend, Stacy tracking a first alert weather day for some wintry changes possible late next week.
You've got me very interested. I'm following closely.
I got to get the viewers to come back later. So
there you go. All right, thanks, Nathan.
Yeah.
A 46-year-old NDSU mystery has resurfaced. The department has taken to the internet to enlist Reddit sleuths to find a piece of stolen art that's now estimated to be worth $12,000. Valley News Team's Alex Larson spoke to the art director heading the investigation.
We only had 19 pieces to start off with, including Andy Warhol, a Frank Stella, and this Richard Diebenkorn. So it's rich in history, you know, since this was part of our initial investment.
The artwork, Untitled Woman Seated at a Table by Richard Diebenkorn, went missing in 1975. It was taken off the wall during NDSU's annual Spring Blast.
What we think may have happened was that either it was a prank or maybe somebody just picked up the artwork and didn't necessarily know what it was. They might have thought, since it wasn't labeled, that it was maybe somebody's work that they knew.
Ferris has been working with 5 students and the archives to help gather information on its disappearance.
All of the artwork here is very important to all the students, and just to get this piece back would be it would mean a lot, and since we've been searching for it for so long.
The founding director of the gallery came to Fargo last week for the first time in 46 years.
She came to tell us a little bit about the early collection, the early efforts to find it, and it's so interesting to have somebody that was actually here at the time be able to tell us those stories.
The gallery says it's committed to continuing the investigation until the piece is returned.
Not only do I want the work back, but I also want to know, if possible, where it's been the last 46 years, because that's part of the work's story now.
Ferris and his team took to Reddit to try and find some answers.
You know, this past year, I've been watching all of these mysteries, you know, of artwork that's stolen all over the world. And so I think that was one of the reasons why it got prompted, that we have our own mystery here in this community.
The gallery says no questions will be asked of the person who returns it. In Fargo, Alex Larson, Valley News Live.
Ferris and his team are holding a meeting next Wednesday night at the Memorial Union to open up conversations with the community about where that artwork might be. New for you at 10, at least one person is dead after a one-vehicle accident in Red Lake County. That happened just after noon on Highway 92 at Red Lake County Road 118. Highway Patrol says the driver drifted onto the shoulder and overcorrected, causing the car to roll until it stopped in a ditch. A 70-year-old woman from East Grand Forks was driving with one passenger, a 48-year-old man from Brooks. It's not clear who was killed. Highway Patrol says more information will be released at 8 a.m. A man was hurt in a farm accident north of Jamestown today, according to News Dakota. That happened this afternoon in the 7400 block of 30th Street Southeast. The Stutsman County Sheriff says the man got his hand caught in a baler. He says they were able to free his hand eventually, but it wasn't easy. He was flown to Fargo via AirMed. His condition is unknown. Continuing our coverage of the children's COVID vaccine rollout. As more and more area kids get their vaccines, parents are wondering what it'll mean for local school policies. At this point, Fargo and West Fargo public schools say a fully vaccinated student would not be required to quarantine or test for COVID if they're exposed, but that's about the only change. Both districts say they're not tracking who gets the shot or mandating it. They say vaccine mandates would come from the state, not the district. Meanwhile, the attorneys general of 11 states, including North Dakota, have filed a lawsuit challenging a vaccine mandate for employers issued by President Biden's administration. The new mandate would take effect in January and applies to private employers with at least 100 workers. Today, Governor Doug Burgum says the overreaching mandate will only add to vaccine skepticism and resistance and make the labor challenges even worse. A potentially game-changing COVID-19 antiviral pill is expected to become available for use in the U.S. by next month. U.S. advisors plan to meet at the end of the month to review it. Britain became the first country in the world to approve the drug yesterday for use in people with mild to moderate COVID symptoms and at least one risk factor for developing severe illness like obesity or heart disease. Studies show the pill cuts the risk of hospitalization or death by half in high-risk COVID patients. Drug maker Pfizer is also working on a COVID pill. The Grand Forks woman accused of trying to kill a stranger with a hammer earlier this year has been found not guilty on 2 of 3 charges. Alana Ranasati was originally charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and burglary. A jury acquitted her on both the attempted murder and burglary charges today. She was found guilty on aggravated assault and sentenced to spend the next 2 years on supervised probation. Grand Forks police say back on March 25th, they responded to an apartment on South 17th Street to find a 61-year-old man had been hit with a hammer several times. Court documents say Ranasati didn't know the victim. An emotional day in court for the trial of the men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery. During opening statements, the prosecution played the now infamous video of the moment the 25-year-old was fatally shot back in February 2020. In it, you can see father and son Gregory and Travis McMichael chasing after Arbery while William Bryan records. In a rare move, Bryan's defense attorney reserving his opening statement for after the prosecution rests. The prosecution's first witness, a police officer responding to the scene.
The amount of blood loss I saw on the scene, the lack of rise and fall of the chest, and basically the gaping wound that I saw in his chest. There was nothing I could do for him.
The men say they went after Arbery thinking he had something to do with recent crimes in the neighborhood and were attempting a citizen's arrest. All 3 men have pleaded not guilty to several charges, including felony murder. New information tonight on the Iowa high school teacher allegedly murdered by her students. The 2 16-year-old students charged in the death of the high school Spanish teacher are being charged as adults. Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodall are facing first-degree murder charges in the death of 66-year-old Nahima Graber. Court documents say the Fairfield high school teacher suffered head trauma. Her remains were found at a park she frequents for walks. Today, fellow students tell news station KCCI the suspects were known to speak in a, quote, very aggressive way for dislike toward Miss Graber. Colin Powell's death was met today with an outpouring of grief from American leaders. Powell, who was battling a rare blood cancer, died last month at 84 from COVID complications. Former presidents, dignitaries, and family members gathered today at the National Cathedral in the nation's capital for the funeral to honor a man who helped shape American politics for decades. They say if you find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So I think it's safe to say if you find a job you still want to do at the age of 91, you've chosen the right career. That's exactly what one North Dakota farmer is doing as he's still helping with the harvest.
This is where Albert Weber is happiest.
Yeah, I'm going down.
He's lived here and farmed this land his entire life.
I was born here on the farm.
Albert figures he's been harvesting crops here for 85 years.
I would say I probably started when I was 6 years old.
He's now 91.
That's a lot of harvest.
And this year, Albert is learning to drive a new combine.
We sold his old combine that he used to drive, and we put him on this one.
It didn't take him long to get comfortable in the driver's seat.
You catch on to it.
Farming is in the Weber blood. 3 generations of Webers now work this land.
We are fortunate, that's for sure.
Helping with harvest was all Albert's idea.
He called me and he said, "Are you guys using that other combine?" I said, "Well, no, we don't got anyone to run." He said, "Well, I'll jump in there and I'll run it. We'll see how much we can get done."
With Albert's help, the Webbers should finish harvest in the next couple of days. Each round in the combine brings back memories of past harvests.
We had no combines when I grew up.
Of changes.
Yeah, a lot of changes.
And of good years and bad years.
52 was a dry year.
This year's corn crop isn't great.
Next year will be better.
That positive attitude is what's kept Albert going all these years. Is inspiring. But Albert says he's not really that special.
Oh, I'm sure there's other guys my age do the same thing.
It might be maybe outlandish to somebody that he's out here at 91 years old, but to me it'd be strange if he wasn't here.
Albert plans to be here, helping with the harvest just as long as he can. He's already looking ahead to next year.
Well, I hope I'm around by then yet, but yeah, if I can, I'll be there, yeah.
Sharing his love of farming and harvesting the rewards of a long life.
Deer season, the Webbers say they'll hunt in the morning, then combine in the afternoon until they fill their tags. And yes, Albert has a deer tag to fill. Still ahead, a big night in sports across the valley. Devin and the sports team has you covered.
And yes, Minnesota Deer opener tomorrow. Here's how things are looking. Near 40 for that morning temperature. Upper 40s by noon. Look at the south wind at 14 miles per hour there. Low 50s by 6 p.m. We'll break down your forecast hour by hour next.